Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to say a proper hello again to everyone listening and watching. I'm Jason, host of the Curious Goldfish podcast, a music podcast about more than music. I want to say thank you for everyone who has listened, watched, and shared. Your support is appreciated so much. But I need to apologize to my audio-only listeners. I've been cranking out video episodes for YouTube so much in 2025 that I've neglected to do proper introductions for all of these conversations. But starting now, new episodes will be back in your audio feed, and I'll also be uploading the backlog of interviews so you won't miss a single thing. Moving forward, all video interviews will be available to watch on both YouTube and Spotify. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe to both, and please tell your friends and family, especially those who enjoy learning about new music and the stories behind the songs. Thanks so much for sticking with me. I'm really excited about all the great conversations on the horizon.
Well, I kind of, made a little pact with myself when I moved up here. It's like if I was to get an actual job, anything other than music-related things, I would just go back home. I wanted to keep all my expenses low. I didn't have any rent. I was living out of my van for a little bit and just eating real cheap and everything. None of that really mattered to me. I was going to make it some way or another, and just try to earn enough just to keep me fed. And then all the other time I would just spend writing and singing as much as I could, just honing in the craft.
Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish in all the major podcast and social media platforms. And of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. Every artist who comes to Nashville carries a different story. Some arrive with a record deal waiting, others with a carefully crafted plan. Levi Foster came with a little more than a van, a handful of songs, and the belief that his best work would come not from shortcuts, but from a daily devotion to his craft. His debut record, We Made Fire, reflects that commitment. It's not a concept album in the traditional sense, but a collection shaped by the discipline of listening to his own roots in Virginia, listening to the conversations that become choruses, and listening for the spark that turns experience into a song. In our conversation, Levi talks about how he found his footing in Nashville, the process behind the record, and why he thinks of songwriting less as a career strategy and more as a way of being present in the world. His story is a reminder that sometimes the boldest move isn't chasing trends, it's keeping your head down and letting the songs lead. Now, from Nashville, Tennessee, here's Levi Foster. Let's dive in. Every artist who comes to Nashville carries a different story. Some arrive with a record deal. Every artist who comes to Nashville carries a different story. Some arrive with a record deal waiting, others with a carefully crafted plan. Levi Foster came with a little more than a van, a handful of songs, and the belief that his best work would come not from shortcuts, but from daily devotion to his craft. His debut record, We Made Fire, reflects that commitment. It's not a concept album in the traditional sense, but a collection shaped by the discipline of listening to his own roots in Virginia, listening to the conversations that become choruses, and listening for the spark that turns experience into song. In our conversation, Levi talks about how he found his footing in Nashville, the process behind the record, and why he thinks of songwriting less as a career strategy and more as a way of being present in the world. His story is a reminder that sometimes the boldest move isn't chasing trends, it's keeping your head down and letting the songs lead. Now, from Nashville, Tennessee, Here's Levi Foster. Let's dive in. Hey, Levi. I appreciate your time, man. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the podcast.
Nice to meet you too, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So here we are in June. I guess tell me something good about your weekend. What do you have planned this summer that you're excited about?
Yeah, man. Just I've been playing here around town and writing a bunch, releasing this record that I got coming out this summer. I've already put out 2 singles from it now, and I got one more single. And August 29th, I'll release the full record. And yeah, just really looking forward to putting new music out there and letting y'all hear it.
Is that your first kind of full-length debut?
That's right. Yeah, I've put out a couple singles and an EP or two before this, but this is a full project.
We're going to dig into that. The album's called We Made Fire. It's out at late August. Definitely have some questions about that. Just to kind of take a step back. So you're from Lynchburg, Virginia. I lived in Virginia for a hot minute when I started my career. I love Virginia.
Me too, yeah.
It's like I miss, the seasons, the apples, the Civil War history. It's all good. But you grew up in Lynchburg, and the thing that comes to my mind right away is I grew up in the buckle of the Bible Belt in Missouri, and every Sunday we'd go to church or whatever. My parents would always have Jerry Falwell, and Liberty University, because I think in Lynchburg, like there's a lot of the life there is centered around the university, and I'm sure through the years Falwell. How much of that was part of your life growing up, or was it?
Sure. So I grew up right outside of Lynchburg, about 20, 30 minutes outside of Lynchburg. From my childhood until now, just the city of Lynchburg has grown so much just through university. I think that's a great thing for the economy, for the people around there, and a lot of students coming from all across the world coming to Lynchburg, Virginia. So I'll meet some former students from Liberty, and they just love talking about how great Lynchburg is. So it makes me feel good. But
yeah, did you grow up going to church much? Or
I grew up going to a Presbyterian church in Rustburg, which is a town I grew up in, and so I did grow up going to church quite a bit.
Virginia's got such a history there, sort of in the holler area of southwestern Virginia, with the Carter family and everything. Mm-hmm. So you've got a great foundation to sort of build on. I guess, did you ever imagine being in Nashville?
When I moved up here, it was kind of on a whim. I just knew I needed to be here just in my own right. I just knew this was the place I wanted to go. I never grew up thought I need to be in Nashville. I just grew up just loving country music and loved writing it and loved everything about it. So, Nashville's kind of the mecca of country. So I think this is a good place to be if you want to get into country music. So that was kind of my plan. I never really had any thoughts about it. I just pulled the trigger,
Yeah. I know a lot of artists, especially starting out, they've got the day job, right? And sort of the side hustle is music until they can figure out a way to pay the bills and do it full time. I guess, did you ever have a backup plan? Would you be an accountant, or would you be a construction contractor, or was it always music?
Well, I kind of, made a little pact with myself when I moved up here. It's like if I was to get an actual job, anything other than music related things, I would just go back home. I wanted to keep all my expenses low. I didn't have any rent. I was living out of my van for a little bit, and, just eating real cheap and everything. None of that really mattered to me. I was going to make it some way or another, and just try to earn enough just to keep me fed. And then all the other time I would just spend writing and singing as much as I could, just honing in the craft was all.
No, that's great. And you got a publishing deal fairly quickly after moving to Nashville, right? Was that a surprise? And
yeah,
is that the normal path that people take, or is that sort of an exception?
Well, I never knew what the normal path was. I mean, when I first got here, I started writing with a friend of mine who actually grew up in Rustburg, but we had never met. And we became fast friends, and we started writing a bunch of songs together. And he worked at this publishing company that later on signed me. And I think I owe a lot of credit to him for taking me under his wing and kind of showing me the ropes when it comes to co-writing, because I'd never co-written before I moved to Nashville. And I've been very blessed. As soon as I got that deal, I was kind of not starstruck, but kind of just waking up every morning like, oh, this is my job. I got to write songs, and just being so happy in that regard because of man, this is what I've always wanted to do. So getting paid to write songs was kind of mind blowing to me, So just very fortunate for how everything has happened and it's continuing to happen for me.
Yeah, that's great. Do you approach it as a job? Do you have to, in order to sort of meet I'm sure there's sort of expectations around number of songs and things like that, but like, do you have to treat it as a job in order to kind of be productive, or can you still be a little bit more inspired?
Yeah, I don't really approach it as a job. The IRS approaches it as a job for sure. But no, like that's was kind of the mind blowing thing to me. You spend all day writing, doing things you love, and you don't look at it as a job. But I would say if you approach it with that whole occupation mindset, it's probably will damper your writing abilities, in my opinion.
And you've been there a couple of years.
That's right.
I guess doing that. How many songs do you think you've
sort
of cranked out, and how many of them are good?
At least one, I hope. No, I've probably just since I've been here, I'd say over maybe close to 300, maybe over that. I mean, I try to write every day. I mean, if I'm not writing every day, I feel bad about myself. Like you said, and how many of them are good, I don't know. Probably not a lot, but I feel like you got to keep writing every day just to hone that craft. And whatever you're feeling, write it out. A lot of people say it's a therapy, which I agree with, but it definitely makes you better. Just if you want to get better at anything, you got to do it all the time.
All right, so this is not meant to be a dog on Rustburg, but there couldn't have been that many things happen in Rustburg to inspire 300 songs. What do you draw from in order to crank that many out?
Other people's experiences, I would say. Just keep your ears open when you're out in the world, because there's a lot of stories that can be told through other people's lenses. I think that I've gotten a lot of ideas just from conversations with older people, younger people, people of all walks of life that are looking at the world differently because they have different experiences than you do. So I think that's the biggest thing you can take away from writing is, especially in country music, it's generally folk music. I mean, it's stories of common people. So I think you got to keep your ears open.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, that's impressive. So take me behind the scenes on how that actually works. So if over the course of 2 years you've submitted 300 songs, does your publishing company then kind of do they filter out the ones that are like really, really bad, and then present ones that they kind of like, or do they present them all? And then how many bites have you gotten from people actually recording? And, I'm just curious kind of how that works.
Yeah. Well, I try to first self-filter everything before I turn it in. I mean, you're supposed to turn in everything, just per contract. But, I mean, then they would pitch songs that they think would fit certain artists that other publishing companies or A&R people have reached out to them about, hey, this artist is recording. They're looking for this type of mid-tempo, whatever song, and then they'll go through my catalog and the other staff writers' catalogs and see songs that they would think fit. So, and the people that pitch, their job is to listen to all of their writers' catalogs and know what song at the drop of a hat would work good, because you have a small window to get it first held by the artist. And if it's on hold, that's a good sign, means they're considering recording it. And that means we're holding this song, don't pitch it to any other artist. And then they could hold it for a year and you can't pitch that song anywhere else, and they may never record it. So that's happened to me, which is good. Yeah. I'd rather have a hold than nothing,
No, totally. I guess when you say 300 songs, is that just lyrics, or do you have to like put it to a melody?
Oh yeah, that's
music.
Yeah, that's with a melody too. So generally you'd record it on your phone, just to like an iPhone. It's called a work tape, and you would turn those in. Or I have a little setup at my house that I'll make a full demo, with the actual vocals and guitar and everything that's a lot more polished. And those are the songs that I generally think are the better songs, or songs that I would like to record myself. So
very cool. So did you show up in Nashville like knowing how that all worked and doing the work tapes on your iPhone, or was that something that you just were thrown into?
Oh yeah.
just kind of picked
Yeah,
up?
I didn't know nothing, man. I'm still figuring it out, but there's so many moving parts to this industry. You know, it's fun to learn. When I was growing up, never really like thought far behind the curtain of what's happening in the actual industry part of it. But there's a lot of good working people that make all this stuff happen, and it's amazing to witness and just be a part of.
Yeah. So we were talking about Virginia and Southwest Virginia and Bristol, and again the Carter family and Jimmy Rogers, where a lot of that magic started way back when. You sound very, I mean, this is a complete compliment. You're a complete throwback in terms of your voice and just your style, right? I mean, I love it, right? But very traditional, I guess. Does that whole saying around three chords and the truth with country music, now that you're in it as a songwriter, do you come back to that kind of mantra, or is it more nuanced and more complex than
Well,
that?
I'd say depending on how simple or plain the lyrics are, and they could be the most complex lyrics, as long as it's if it comes off genuine, I think is the biggest goal for me. I want my music to be a genuine listen that people know that is truly me, and even if the story is from someone else or I made it up, it's a true story in somebody's life. So I want it to be relatable and genuine in that regard.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome. Congrats on all that. What I want to ask you about is obviously the new album, We Made Fire. Is there a theme to all the songs in terms of what you were trying to convey, or are they just kind of a mix of different things that you've come up
Yeah,
with?
but more of a mix. I kind of had the idea of just made the best song win kind of thing, and there were times where all right, I'm picking these 10 songs, and then next week I'd write two better songs, so I'd swap some out, so it's really kind of a loose, cohesive thing. I wanted a country record, but I wanted to kind of try to push the envelope in certain genre elements and modernize some things in some regards. But yeah, it was just I tried to write the best country songs I could all day leading up to that, and those were kind of the songs that won, in my opinion.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Are you hoping that the listener applies anything, learns anything, is inspired by anything, or just is it just entertaining
Yeah,
collection?
I'd say I try. So each one of the songs on that record, I think, uh, conveys a genuine emotion that I've had or someone I've known has had, and some of the stories or the songs can be sad or dark or happy too. But I think that I want them to relate with the emotions, and I think most everybody that has lived life has related to these emotions that are conveyed in the song. So that's my main goal, and it will continue to
Okay.
be. I think.
Right. Do you have a favorite of all the songs?
Oh, whichever one makes the most money. No, just no. I like all of them equally. A lot of writers, think of their songs as their babies and all that stuff, and
Sure.
I enjoy every song I'm a part of. But when I'm trying to write every day, I try to look at it with a neutral lens. I don't want to feel really good or feel really bad about a song because I've been surprised both ways. As the recording process or production process continues, you can be surprised both ways in that aspect. So I try not to pick a favorite song. Me, when I listen to music, I listen to songs that kind of reflect the mood that I'm in at that time. So I think that I could have a favorite one today and a different favorite one tomorrow. So
Sure. Well, of the ones you've released, the one I really enjoy is Emerald
oh,
Eyes,
thank you.
which is a duet with Gloria
That's
Henderson,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you meet her? How'd that come about? And like when you all were recording that and shooting the video and stuff, I mean, you had to have felt that you were in Nashville in the late 1960s doing your best Tammy Wynette and George Jones
Yeah.
impersonation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I met her. I don't know. Maybe 6 months ago here in Nashville. She's from Texas. A great songwriter, really good songwriter and singer too. She's got a phenomenal voice. When I wrote this song with Leah Blevins and Jen Stegall, and we never really wrote it as kind of like a duet. Like we just write an old kind of sad, sappy love song, like you said, George Jones vibe with it. And anyways, we wrote those speaking parts, and then as I was recording it, we wanted to make it a duet, and so we we're looking at people to sing it, and Gloria was definitely on the top of the list. So we reached out to her, and she hopped on it. So I'm very grateful she did. I think she did an amazing job, and I think her voices blend well, and she's an emotional singer too, which sings with conviction and passion and all that good stuff. So I was very impressed by her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've talked about in other interviews, like the diversity of Nashville has been a good surprise or a good experience for you so far. And I think the diversity within the country music genre it's so wide. This song is, again, a complete harken back to decades before versus a lot of the newer stuff, people outside of the industry coming in, doing country music. Mm-hmm. How much of a market do you think there is for kind of the style that you and Gloria put out in that one song, and then for you in general?
Right. I would say there's really a market for any type of music if you know how to market it, if you know who you're marketing to. Mm-hmm. I think that country music being so active is not a bad thing. Country music is a broad term now, and I think that's a positive. There's more people that are being steered to country as listeners that normally wouldn't give it a chance. So I think that especially with the internet nowadays, there's a lot of different avenues to where people can find you. And but saying that, it's a double-edged sword too. There's so many other people saturating the market, and which is also another good thing. But if you're trying to do it as a living, you have a lot of competition. But I mean, I'm just pleased at making songs that I like writing, and I try to keep them genuine songs. And I think if I keep doing that, even if I get a small fan base, I'll be very content, because it's what I've wanted to do all my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great answer there. I guess one thing I want to ask you about is you don't seem like the guy that would be Mr. TikTok and Mr. Social Media. I mean, again, no disrespect, no judgment, right? But growing up in Rustburg and rural Virginia, I guess at what point did you say, okay, did you begrudgingly say, okay, I need to do these short form videos to kind of get or were you into it from the beginning? And I guess at what point did you kind of say, okay, this is actually working? Because you've built a very good brand doing your pop music stuff in a country format, and then obviously your original stuff.
Yeah, so like I never really had a plan before I posted that like first one that like garnered a lot of people, a lot of followers and stuff. I was just having fun one night, just made a TikTok and then put up, I forget what video it was, but it was like Johnny Cash singing some new pop song. And anyways, it got a lot of people catching on. So I was like, oh, I better do this again. And so I just kept on doing it. And then I started putting out my own music. And maybe, I don't know, 5-10% of the people that came for the funny videos stayed for my music. And I was very happy with that, because it's 5% of a lot of people is worse than 100% of no people. So
sure.
That was kind of my plan. I'm not opposed to doing that. I do it live sometimes just for fun. I might put up another little impression video every once in a while, but I'm definitely trying to push my own music now. And I think the people that know me from the impression videos will tag along. Some of them will.
Do you enjoy it now?
Doing the impressions?
Like more than... Yeah, doing the social media thing, because it's kind of part of what you have to do, right? And some people just can't stand it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the algorithm is what everybody has to bow down to now. Even people that are like really established artists, like I hear their labels are telling them you have to go viral, and how do you go viral? There's no answer to that. We're all trying to appease this robot algorithm that nobody can control. So. I mean, to answer your question, no, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't take up a lot of my time. I mean, it'll take up some of my time to prepare it, and just because I know how important it is, just to get people to hear you for the first time, because then they could be a lifelong fan. You'll never know. So,
sure,
I think it's worth it.
So you mentioned the IRS earlier. You have a great song out there that's, I think it was an original, but you haven't released it yet, called Don't Make Sense.
Oh yeah, it's out there. I put it out there.
Is that going to be on the record or not?
No, it's a single out already. I put that out last year. Yeah, I wrote that with Carly Zimmerman and Rafe Carlson. We had a fun time writing that, and that was, as I recall, I think it was tax week, and we just had a long conversation about it, and everybody was just pissed off. It was like, well, let's write a song.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier with your publishing
Uh-huh.
deal. It's like this, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not great, to
Yeah.
have that much money go
What little
away.
money I got, why do you want it from me?
Do you have any plans to do projects kind of in that vein or in that format where it's a little bit humorous, a little bit fun,
Yeah,
whatever?
I had thought about putting out like a probably a small EP, maybe like a 6 song EP, because I have a bunch of like funny songs, not like goofy, but like try to be witty with it. I have a bunch of those
Yeah.
songs that I've like I should just compile them all together, because if I throw it on a record that right after some sad song that's like funny, I don't know. So I mean, I have a bunch sitting on ice. My plan is to release them at some point, but I don't know when that's going to be. It would be super easy to record. I could record it quick and just throw it out there. But
Yeah, totally.
I think
No,
if
that's
I
good.
need something to put out, I just like, all right, here we go. It's funny time.
Well, I was going to ask you, how old are you? Are you 30 yet
Yeah,
or
I just
no?
turned 30 this year.
Oh my gosh. All right. So you're so young.
Hey,
All right.
thanks. I haven't
Well,
gotten that
sorry about.
before. All the younger people here in Nashville, they're like, "You're 30?" I'm like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah, what does that mean? That's so
Yeah.
young. Yeah, I guess so. Where I know you're, relatively new to the industry, a year or two in Nashville or whatever, but as you look at kind of where you are as an artist, where do you think you're at, and then where do you want to be?
Yeah, I'd like to be playing a lot more bigger shows is kind of my goal. Looking for a booking agent and everything like that. And I really love playing live. That's what made me fall in love with the whole like I don't know business side of it. Because I started playing live when I was about 14 and really haven't stopped. And uh, I've always enjoyed playing for other people, playing in front of other
Mm.
people, and it's just that natural high, man. You can't beat that natural high of just getting up on stage and doing your thing. So that's what I'm striving for, and just in the writing side, I love too. I mean, I love them both equally, but I think they complement each other. If you do too much of one, you're going to lack in the other. So my goal
Yeah.
is to get out on the road either this year and definitely next year. So been doing a lot of recording and writing. So I got some songs to sing for the people.
Well, you've talked about you'd play Kroger parking lot. Like here in Atlanta, we have Publix, so
Yeah,
you gotta figure out how to play in a
yeah,
Publix parking
Publix
lot.
tour. Yeah, just
There
yeah,
you go.
yeah. But
Oh, that's great. No, that's cool. So, yeah, I guess in terms of collaborations, so you talked about writing 300 songs, co-writing, and doing things with other people. I guess, and that being a learning experience. Are there any that you're like super excited about that's led to other bigger things that might be in the works, or future collaborations that were sort of unexpected?
yeah. So actually, in August, I'm doing another full length record that Shooter Jennings is going to produce, and that was a great thing to hear back from him. We reached out to him, I don't know, about a month ago, seeing if he was interested in producing me, and we sent him the record we just recorded that I'm putting out this year, and he listened to it. I think we called him at a good time, so he listened to it, and I think he liked it. And anyways, he wanted to do it, and I'm very excited about that. So as of late, I've just been writing towards that, and I think it's definitely a dream of mine to get to work with him. Him and his dad has been a huge influence on me as long as I can remember. So I think it's going to be kind of mind blowing when I'm there. I'm sure, and that'll be out in L.A. at the Sunset Sound Studio.
Okay, I was going to ask you if it was in Nashville or somewhere else. That's awesome. Congratulations on
Thank you,
that. So,
man.
is August the sort of the tentative date for actually recording it with
Yeah,
him?
I don't have a date next year, but it'll be next year when I put it out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
assume probably a year from August. So next August, I'm hoping. Maybe earlier. We'll
Oh
see.
my gosh. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
That's very exciting. So, are you familiar with the show Ted Lasso?
Yes, yeah. I haven't seen a bunch of episodes, but I know what you're talking about.
All right. So that show changed my life in a lot of ways, kind of personally and professionally. Just the leadership lessons and everything. One of the themes, obviously, is curiosity, right? And the importance of as he said in one of the scenes, be curious, not judgmental. So, as a 30-year-old artist in Nashville, Virginia native, I guess at this point in your life, what are you most curious about?
Ooh, I'm most curious about how far I can go with this because I know in myself I'm not going to stop. I'm just curious how far the world will let me go with this, I guess.
Is it daunting not to be in control? Like you can only control so much, and
Yeah,
what I'm
sure.
saying, it's kind of like you've put yourself out there in the hands of the world,
Uh-huh.
right? And it's like, do you stress out about that?
No,
And
I don't really think that way. Even when I moved here, not knowing anybody, never was that really daunting. I just knew this is where I needed to be, and just waking up with that in the back of my mind, probably kept all those daunting and lonely feelings at bay. So I think that none of that has ever scared me.
well, I mean, with a voice like you have, I mean,
Well, shoot.
you shouldn't be
Thanks,
scared,
man.
right? I mean, you shouldn't be
Thank you,
scared, dude.
brother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How old were you when I know you've been performing since you're like 13, but did you know that you had this like amazing talent early, or did it take a while for you to kind of get it?
I always loved singing and loved music. Like I never really stopped to think like, am I good? I just wanted to do it. You know what I mean? And shoot, still, I mean, I'm always practicing still. There's always room for improvement. So I'm always trying to get
Yeah.
better. But I think that, I knew that I had fun doing it and I felt that I was good enough to do it. So yeah, I never thought that, like, dang, I'm good. I need to be doing this. But I was just like, I need to be doing this whether I'm good or not. So if I'm not good, I'll get good. That's kind of the way I looked at
That's
it.
awesome. All right. Well, good. Well, appreciate your time, Levi Foster. Good luck
Thanks, man.
with the album release. Good luck, recording with Shooter Jennings later this year. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
And hopefully we'll see you at a Publix
Yeah,
parking lot
man.
at some
Yeah.
point for your tour. But
Be in the deli
yeah,
section.
appreciate your time, man. I appreciate your time. That's so nice to
Yeah,
meet
you
you.
too, bud. Thanks so much for having me.